To start the assembly uh, process off, remember you need to ground one, at least one of your parts, so that way, as you constrain them, that the that is you have better control over your over the individual parts. So before I do that, I want to point out that you see how when I place these parts in here, these parts are just kind of they're the orientation of these parts are based on the orientation um, that you set when you design the parts. But what you can do is this selection up here, this feature up here called free rotate. I can go here and I can select individual parts and I can rotate them around individually. So that way, because if I use the view cube, it's going to rotate all the parts at the same time. So, and I can, whoops, okay, free rotate, and I can do this part individually. So if you use the view cube, you see that they all rotate around, but just some FYI, I wanted to point out to you, it makes it a little easier to access certain sides or certain parts, um, features of the part that you want to constrain together. So let me see. The first thing, I guess what we'll do, we'll ground this the handle post here. Okay, so now this can't move. Right? These still can. Okay, this can move here. This can move here. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. We're going to place the long post and the short post. We're going to place it into the the holes here. So let's start with the long post. We'll use a constraint because these are circular. We're going to use the insert feature, and I'm going to use the aligned solution. So this here, this section here, I'll click align, and then I'm going to actually use, well, doesn't matter which side it's facing, but click line here. Notice that it is, oops, excuse me for a second. Okay. Notice that this part is now aligned here. And the thing is, I want this uh, to be completely centered. So the width of this piece right here, if you remember from when we designed it, the width of this part right here is 5 millimeters. This long post is 26 millimeters. So that means that I'll have, if I, let's see, 26 minus 5, 21. And so that means I have 21 millimeters of this part that's going to be exposed. And I want the same amount on both sides of this handle post. Um, so let's see, 21 divided in half is going to give me 10 and a half. So that's where I go up here to this menu here and I use offset. So I'm going to type in this box how much I want this to be offset. And I'll type 10.5. And as you can see, it's going in the wrong direction. It's going 10.5 this way. So that means the opposite direction, I will have to type in a negative. So for you, if your positive number moved it in the right direction, that's fine. If it moves it away from the part, then you just add a negative in front of it. And so now you'll see that I have, it's been offset um, by when I originally align these, but it's been offset by enough amount to where it's centered. And I click apply, and I'm going to stay in this same constraint feature, insert and aligned. And I'm going to use go to the short post. Okay, and this thing is, let me go here. So now again, I want to make sure this is centered, and this piece here is 5 millimeters, the thickness of the um, the end of this um, handle post is 5 millimeters, and this short post here is, what do we dimension? This is 14 millimeters long. So if I take 14 minus 5. I have that means I have 9 millimeters of this post that's going to be exposed, and I want half of it to be on one side and the other. I want the same amount to be on both sides. So what is half of 9? Um, that's what, 4.5. So I go in here and type 4.5. As you can see, it moved away from, let's see, it moved away from my part. So let's type in uh, negative 4.5 and then click apply. So you can kind of see here, zoom in. So now you can see that I have them. Let me get out of this feature. You can see that I have the same amount on both sides here. And so we're good to go.